Graphene eyes crying out the black goo. Crying, black goo symbolism. Graphene poured onto magazines. It's a spiritual extractor. So, going into I was saying it breeds like narcissism, it extracts, it mimics. But most importantly, graphene basically is corruption. Basically, it's to corrupt anything it comes in contact with, but also mimics and extracts. So it's just like you take one drop of this, life in blood, life in graphene, splits up the DNA, but it'll extract, so it'll pull anything, so it'll mimic it, but it'll extract it. And remember, it intermingles with both sides of our realm, physical realm and spiritual realm, so it's going to lift up and pull up anything that touches magazines. It's going to extract and pull out of that magazine what is in it, because it extracts out the demons, just like what it used to do using these things as for the parents would bring their children and everything as offerings for the gold, for everything else. And then the graphene black goo would cover and consume the children and whatever else, but the demons, how would they extract out the demons? By offering sacrifice, but also, most importantly, it would extract because you bring it to life, oxidizing the stuff, and men are mingling it and pretty much blessing the graphene to do what you want. So you bless it, and they would activate graphene, because activated graphene, obviously, yeah, you would mix in the human blood with it, with a seance, pour it over your magazines, and it would extract out whatever was in that. You see it in symbolism. It's like Amazing Stories. They would take the liquid and pour it over the magazine. It's the same thing with graphene. It's a spiritual and physical superconductor. It mimics, it extracts, it copies, it rewrites. It's alive. They used it to make hybrids, going all the way back to the Book of Enoch, Genesis 6, and everything they did. Leprechauns, fairies, they mimicked, they bleached. They used and manipulated the animal blood and human blood with graphene, life in blood, life in graphene, to misogynize, to copy. They were sinning against everything on the land and the seas, going back to Enoch chapter 7. It's a lot more, I'll just say it like this, I'll be honest, it's a lot, it's deeper than the human mind can wrap themselves around it. Now again, how did I figure it out? I was studying alchemy, and I just asked the question, well, how are they making rocks and trees alive, just like the movie Noah and the movie Lord of the Rings? Bringing these non-living things to life as human beings that verbally speak like us and do things, making slaves out of these giants. They were using graphene to split liquid splice the DNA, the genomes from the blood, the animal blood, with graphene, with these spells and this fallen angel technology. So when I say things as a spiritual superconductor, basically it's mimicking, copycatting, and using itself, but also when it mimics and extracts and copyrights, does a copycat. It's also, when it's extracting out and pulling out the demons, it's also filling it with its corruption, because at the end of the day, what is graphene symbolic for? It's symbolic for corruption. So it's like when you see these tears and like things like Mizio, Billie Eilish videos, you see it. Even things like Power Rangers, the purple goo, Ivan Ooze is symbolized for graphene, because they only present half truths in these things. Venom, Spider-Man, Tron, the black suit that he wore was the graphene. X-Men, the blue woman, the liquid armor and graphene. All these other things. You have a spiritual superconductor, because it's intermingling and playing with both sides, but mimicking and extracting out the demons while it's actually filling it up with the corruption, which is what? Itself, graphene. Graphene is alive. It can be manipulated into That's what you want. But at the end of the day, it's corruption. It's symbolic for corruption. It is corruption. It comes from graphene. They oxidize it and then play with it. It's attracted to magnets. All that stuff. And what else would they do? What would these high-ranking occultists want to do with graphene? They would simply put it in something called Neuralink, Elon Musk's Neuralink, to put it in people for the mark, as the Bible says, the mark of the beast. It would be just that, to splice and fuse into CRISPR-Cas9 technology, nanotechnology, to corrupt everybody's DNA, to pretty much in the day you're liquid splicing humanity and hybridizing people and all their DNA. So it's killing your God-given DNA to clone your new corrupted graphene CRISPR-Cas9 technology infused DNA. Post-human era, golden age. X marks the spot. Pretty much. Very nice. Spiritual superconductor. It's intermingling and playing with both sides. So it's extracting out the demons while it's filling it up with corruption. It's the same with people. So instead of just extracting, it's filling you up with corruption. It's splicing and hybridizing you. This is why we're pretty much in a post-human era. So it's just like it's getting more and more unlikely to eventually be human. So humanity, the post-humanists want humanity and humans wiped off the face of the map. They want to create planet Earth and this world in their own image. Screw humanity. They want what they want. The Zionists want what they want. That is my conclusion, is my belief, and that is, if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So, God bless. Sorry, no, so.